Okay, welcome everybody to our shelf talk, which is on large print books and JLG's new large print category. And we are so excited to have you all here today to learn more about the all the benefits of large print. We have Tasha Squires on with us today and Liz Duffy as well, who is our director of collection, to talk with you more about large print. So we'll be on today for about 20 minutes. And then if you want to stay on a little bit longer after that, Tasha will be here to answer any questions that you might have. So we are doing this in partnership with Thorndike Press. And we're going to talk a little bit more about our partnership with that here in a moment. So um, if you have any questions, definitely go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll try to get to those questions here towards the end. So welcome to JLG's Shelf Talk, and we can go to the next slide. So we are going to have a drawing today. This is a gift from Thorndike Press for $250 in large print books. So some lucky participant today will win that. So that's really exciting. We will do that drawing after the webinar is over, and we will notify the winner they have won those books. So stay tuned for that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Welcome, everybody. I see Valerie and Charla, Martha, welcome. And as you're just jumping in, feel free to say where you're from today. We'd love to see people from all over the country joining us to talk about literacy and the impact of large print. And just a little bit about JLG if you don't know who we are. So JLG is a part of a family of brands, including the School Library Journey, School and Library Journal, the Hornbook, and AKJ Education. We are a brand of a company, a family of brands that have trusted journals that you know and love and use to help you select books for your library. We have trusted professional development for you. And if you know JLG, we send the best new books every month to you. So go ahead and go to the next slide. And if you don't know anything about Junior Library Guild, we've been around for nearly 100 years now. Our selection team of librarians and literary specialists read manuscripts of books that are almost ready to be published. We categorize those selections. We choose the best of the best, and we categorize them based on genre and grade level. And then you choose the categories and the areas that you want to develop your collection more, and you'll receive 1 to 2 new books per month per category. And there's tons of flexibility with it, with swapping, with reviewing before they ship. And we have tons of member benefits as well. So that's a little bit about JLG. Seeing lots of fun different places showing up here on the chat. Let's go to the next slide. I would like to introduce Tasha Squires. She is a school librarian at O'Neill Middle School in Downers Grove, Illinois, just out of Chicago, where the past 17 years she has worked to engage both students and teachers in a love of reading and learning. Prior to O'Neill, she started her career as a young adult librarian in a large public library district serving a diverse southwestern suburb of Chicago, Illinois. She is the winner of the 2015 Follett Challenge and is also the author of Library Partnerships, Making Connections Between School and Public Libraries, published by Information Today. She is the creator and main contributor to the blog Books in the Middle, as well as a book talking podcast of the same name. So I would like to welcome Tasha Squires to our Shelf Talk.
All right, thank you so very much. So, you know how I got started in libraries, but I wanted to tell you today about my adventure to large print. And it's exciting to me because the funny thing was when I started in public libraries, I actually did have large print for my students. I served 6th through 12th grade as the teen librarian. And I did get some large print books for my middle school kids and teenage high school kids. But for some reason, when I moved to the when I moved to the school library, I did not bring that with me. I honestly can't tell you why I didn't think about it. And it wasn't until I was on a webinar few years into my tenure at O'Neill that I was on a webinar, and it was about struggling and striving readers. And I was presenting about high-low publishers. I love Orca and I love Saddleback publishers. And so I was talking about their offerings, which I had brought to my special ed team at O'Neill. But there was someone else from Thorndike that was talking about large print books. And as I listened to her talk, I realized, I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I'm missing out on something here. I need to investigate about large print. And especially since I had them at the public library, why didn't I bring them over to my kids? And at the time, I'll be honest, I was really only thinking about them for my struggling readers. When I got them in the public library, I purchased them like most people do for any kids that might have some eye impairments, right? Something that would prevent their vision from being able to easily read small print books. So so we all know what we're talking about here. This is an example of one of the Thorndike books that is a large print book. And so you can obviously visually see the difference pretty quickly, which book it is that's the large print. But getting back to my experience, so I decided after this webinar that I was going to get some Outsiders books because at the time, our 8th graders read The Outsiders. So I received 15 Outsiders in large print. And I remember there was this kid named Bobby who was sitting on the couch. He was out of gym. And at my school, the out of gym kids go to the library. So he had been in there for a while. And I noticed he was reading a small print edition of The Outsiders. So I said to him, like, hey, Bobby, can you do me a solid? Just pick up where you are in the large print book. And I just want to know what you think of it. Now, to be clear, Bobby had zero. He was a gen ed student. He was not identified as having any reading issues, any visual issues. He was just your run-of-the-mill regular 8th grade kid. So I gave him the book and honestly completely forgot all about him. So the library's going on, my assistant and I are going back and forth about stuff, whatever. Well, then the bell rang and I realized, whoa, Bobby still has this book. So I was like, Bobby, I need the book back. And he was like, the look he gave me was really funny. He was like, no. And I thought, well, honey, I haven't processed the book. I haven't even stamped the book. But he kept looking at me like, no, I want to keep this book. And I'm like, I knew it was getting toward the end of the book. And I'm like, okay, it gets exciting, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, fine, take it. I know you'll be back tomorrow. So the next day when he came in, he had obviously finished the book. And I said to him, like, okay, Bobby, can you tell me what your thoughts were on the large print book? And he had a lot to say. He was telling me that the print was darker on the page. The page was white compared to the other book that he had, which the pages were kind of a little light gray. And then the font, the actual printing was kind of a light gray too. And he said he was able to find his place in the book faster when my assistant and I were distracting him, or if somebody walked into the library. He said he really got into the book. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, is this just because it was The Outsiders or what's going on? So I decided I needed to do some experimenting. And I consulted our reading specialist and I got some kids that she had in strategic reading to record them. And then I started pulling kids that were gen ed kids. So what I would do is I would have them read from either the large print or the small print first, and then I would switch it out to the next one. Same book, right, or my same title, and I would have them in the same area, like they would start on the paragraph. I would make them pause, look up, and then try and find their place in the book, and then continue reading. This was astounding to me. I was completely blown away with what I saw the kids doing. This video, and we don't have time to play it, but I really encourage that you look at this video. This is by, I videotaped this girl named Alea, and she was a student that was identified as needing reading support. She was in strategic reading. She was a 7th grade when this was made. And she started out with the small print book, and she reads with her finger. She's kind of hunched over the book. She takes some time struggling with it. It's a harder text. It was Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And then when I asked her to pause and look at me and then find her place back in the book, she struggles to find her place. When she was given the large print book, she physically sits back, stops tracking with her finger, and overall appears more relaxed. And she finds her place in the book so fast. I was floored. There was another student who stuttered when he read, but didn't stutter with the large print. I had a gen ed student who read fine, but she read very like fast, like just brrr. When she got the large print book, she slowed down and started to read with inflection. I did not expect any of this. So I thought to myself, okay, there is way more going on with this large print than I ever imagined. So I decided to do a study with my kids. And these were just some of the kids that were exposed to large print in my school. This was probably back in like 2017, maybe 2018. And so I had them take this study. Overwhelmingly, as you can see, students loved the large print. They had a positive experience with it. So during this time, I'm talking with Thorndike and I'm like, guys, I am really seeing some fascinating things. I don't know if this is just some weird thing that's going on at O'Neill or what. So they decided they wanted to do actual nationwide studies. And they ended up doing 2 nationwide studies, one in 2019 and one in 2024. And during those nationwide studies, what Project Tomorrow found were there were reasons why students weren't reading, and some of it had to do with the format. They were easily distracted. We all know students now are ridiculously easily distracted. And then it was interesting, they lose their place often, which was something that Bobby had brought to my attention. And then the really sad thing for me was the very last one where they feel stressed or anxious about reading. And that just breaks my heart because obviously as a librarian, I want them to love reading. What was fascinating to me though is that the responses that they got in the 2019 and the 2024 study mimicked what I was seeing in my school. The students were saying they could focus, they could better understand, they had better comprehension of it. So that was, like I said, mirroring what my kids were finding out. This finding their place more easily in the book was a big deal. The other thing that was interesting to me is students said they stayed engaged in the book longer. And a lot of it was because, and this is what this teacher saw too, they physically turn the pages faster because they're reading more quickly, because there's not as much on the page. So they're making it through. A lot of kids were saying they weren't getting as tired. They didn't get tired reading a large print book. And something that a colleague of mine years ago shared with me when I told her about this, I started going down this rabbit hole of large print. And she said, well, that's because your working memory is not getting taxed as much. And I didn't even know this as a librarian. She was an ELA teacher at the time, but became a librarian. But she was saying that your brain is always scanning ahead of the text. And when it's smaller print, obviously it has to take in more that's coming up, which is taxing. And so that was shocking to me, really interesting. So I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this webinar where you can get the full white pages for the last study, but some really interesting things came out as a result of it. And I do think it's really important to understand that not only were the students seeing it, but the teachers were seeing it as well. This speaks volumes to me. So this is 2 pictures. Now, this was the year of the 2024 study that was done. So the kids on the left with the picture did not get a large print book to read prior to getting the outsiders checked out. So we switched the outsiders from 8th grade to 7th grade, and one class for the study read a large print book, one class did not. They read the small print text. So the class on the left, when they went to check out their outsiders book, I give them free choice, right? I've got a bunch of outsiders in large print and in small print. So it's free choice. Look at that. 50% of the kids on their own picked the large print. When you look at the picture of the ones who chose the large print in the class that had prior experience, Only 2 students in the class did not pick large print. That to me is incredible. This year, this is a screenshot from my Destiny circulations this year after the kids had checked out the Outsiders books. Once again, this was done now at the beginning of the school year. They had no prior experience through us with a large print book. 123 picked the large print. Only 69 picked the small print. Student choice is saying it all. Okay, so what do you do? Right? Let's say you realize how amazing large print is, like I have. So what do you do about it? Couple of things. First of all, you have to commit to the collection, which is why I'm so excited that Junior Library Guild is offering this now. I'm really thrilled because you have to support it as a collection. Just like any format in your library, if you have audiobooks, whether they're digital or physical, whether you have graphic novels, whether you have novels in verse, these are formats, right? If a person wants to listen to an audiobook, they want all the audiobooks in one place. That's something that I have learned working with the kids. They want all the large print books in one place because it makes sense. You don't want to run around the library looking for your graphic novels. You don't want to run around the library looking for your large print. But that also means you have to commit to the collection. Several years ago, I decided that I wanted to commit to a world languages collection. And I realized, because I didn't have that many books. And I'm like, okay, I just have to do this. I have to commit half of my budget this year to really buying these books. So I have a collection for these kids. And it's really the same thing with large print. You just have to do it. Involving the teachers, honestly, is super easy. The minute they see it, they buy into it. They love it because you know what? There's zero professional development involved in this. It's the same book. It's just larger. They don't have to change anything for it. And then you have to promote with intention. You have to make sure when I do book talks, I will physically open the book and say, this book is available in large print. You have to take the kids over to the collection and show it to them. I'm going to show you kind of my odyssey or my development of my collection. So from left to right, this is basically how my collection has grown. This was my old library before I got it, before they did the renovation on it. And then this is my new section for large print. And I'll tell you right now, this is actually not even representative. It's even more than this now. And that's because my students really, really want to have that format available to them. The great thing is there are so many more books coming out all the time in large print, and obviously Junior Library Guild is going to be putting together a package so that you can be getting new books all the time that are focusing on your level. This was how we got teachers involved. There was a large print historical fiction unit where they were pairing historical fiction books with nonfiction articles. And so it worked really well. The teachers found that the kids thoroughly enjoyed the books and had a wonderful time with them and were more engaged in the story and in the unit. Then I had an 8th grade teacher who the year of 2024, I was able to get her to be part of the research project. And so we had I Must Betray You for the Cold War unit at the end of the school year. And it got close to when she was going to start implementing this with her kids. And she's like, oh my God, I need to read the book. She took a large print home, finished it in 2 days, and talks about how much she loves this book. And I'll be honest, guys, I think a lot of it was because she was able to get through it so fast and it was large print. So once again, the teacher observations from what they say, the kids read more, they had more fun with it, they were comprehending more of it. I love this. They had a better understanding of the time period than in the past because they had done this unit prior to us bringing in the large print books. So it was very dramatic for the teachers to see the difference in the reactions of the students and in the performance of the students. And once again, like I said, you just have to promote. Anytime I do a book talk on my podcast and it's available in large print, I will usually tag that at the end of the podcast so that people know this is available in large print because that is a format that people are looking for. Here's a video that is also available on the Thorndike YouTube page. Once again, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at it. These are some of my former students, just letting you know how they felt about large print. So what do you do? How do you move on? The thing is, this is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. It's overwhelmingly positive experience for students. It's not just for your special ed kids. It's not just for kids with eye issues. These are for all of your students, and all of your students are looking for these books. And to me, it's literally just another piece in the puzzle for helping create readers. So here are those QR codes if you are interested in the Project Tomorrow Executive Summary, and then obviously a link to my Book Talk podcast, which is basically just book talks. So if you are looking for a quick filler for your class, this will do it for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Tasha. When Tasha and I spoke in preparing for this webinar and we talked about the impact of large print, I just thought, gosh, like, why are we not like shouting this from the rooftops? That's what we're trying to do here at JLG, is shout this from the rooftops and tell you how important and effective this can be, and share with you how what we're doing here at Junior Library Guild we can do to support you in building that collection. So I'm going to have Liz Duffy talk a little bit about our partnership with Thorndike Press, and I see there's questions in the chat, and we promise we will get to those here in a second.
Awesome. Thanks, Tasha. That was such a great representation of why Junior Library Guild decided to start working with Thorndike. Everything that you had mentioned, obviously, we're very switched on to supporting our teachers and librarians in the literacy effort, which I know is a challenge in 2026. Lots of challenges in education these days. So one of the great things about large print and our large print category is that every single title that we're putting in that collection has already been a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection. So as Katie mentioned in the beginning of the call, our team reads thousands of books a year. So all of these titles have already been selected by the team. So they're vetted, they're great titles. Even if it's the first title that you're putting into your collection, maybe you don't have the trade edition, it's still a great pick because we know that my team has read and vetted all of those titles. So they're great selections. And when we spoke with our partners at Thorndike, they had mentioned that middle school was the fastest growing area when they're looking at sales and requests, that was kind of the fastest growing area. So that's where we're starting. But if this picks up more, that is something that we would like to expand, because we know that there is so many benefits to large print for readers that we would be happy to expand it out. So we're starting with middle school and hoping to expand out our offerings in the future. So we really appreciate our partnership with Thorndike, and thank you again, Tasha, for all of that great information.
Great. Yeah. So we do have the large print category. It's for grades 5 through 8. It is available now. We are going to do a survey here at the end where you can indicate if you'd like a quote for that, and we'll have one of our sales consultants reach out and send you that quote. We can easily add it to any of your existing subscriptions that you have going on now. You don't have to wait until you renew. We can work that all out very easily. And this is also another category that your PTO, PTA, or other gifting group might be really interested in helping you with if funding is a problem for you, because they want to help these students, and a lot of the administrators in your school too want to help these students who may be struggling to engage with reading and books. And large print is just another way that you can do that. So Tasha, we can go to the next slide here. There we go. So if you're not a JLG member, or if you are, you can renew or you can start. And we have this really amazing promo going on right now. You will get free book credits to explore other categories. So you can go online and try different books from different categories at any time. You're going to get a free professional development seat through Library Journal, a free subscription to School Library Journal, or you can choose Library Journal or Hornbook. We have special pricing as low as $6 a title for our members who just want to shop outside the categories that they already get. And then we have free mark records and custom mark records processing available. But we also have this cool little turntable that you can get. And this really helps you with your dynamic shelving in your library. It says battery operated, or you can plug it in. You can stick a book of the month on there or something, and it'll spin around for you. It even has a remote control, and that's completely free when you renew or become a member. So we can go to the next slide. And you will be entered to win a mobile repair shop giveaway. That goes through September 30th. So if you renew or become a member, you'll be entered into that contest. A super cute little bookshop cart that you can use in your space. And then we do have a survey that's going to pop up before you leave. We'll also send it via email that you can fill out, and we're going to give $25 in free books, JLG books. We're going to give that away for that, filling out that survey. And don't forget that we're also giving away $250 in large print books from Thorndike Press, and we'll contact the winners for that. So we can go to the next slide. And so this is a great time to ask questions. I'm just going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Will you be able to add them during swaps from your categories? Yes, you can swap in the large print books into your categories if you'd like to. Okay, then the next question is, I'm a public library youth services manager. Are there differences in what you would recommend in collection development for public as compared to a school library, since school librarians seem to be the focus here?
Since I worked in a public library and I started my collection in a public library, I would say no, but you have more, generally speaking. I know I had a way larger budget when I was in the public library, so you can have a really rockin' large print collection. And I would definitely, if you do commit to this and start a really robust large print collection, for me personally, what I have found is pulling it out. Just like in the public library for adults for large print, it's pulled out. At least it was in my public library. So I would definitely do that with the youth area, and I would promote it like crazy to your schools. I would contact all your school librarians, let them know that you have this. And I know when I was in the public library, we actually started a rotating collection that would go out to the schools, not of large print, but I would do that now because I know that sometimes there are budget constraints depending on what's going on in the various school situations. So definitely I don't see any difference in selecting for the public library. I mean, I did the same exact selection process when I was in public library as I do now. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you. Thank you. Mariah says, other than those free things and drawings, is there a reason to order through JLG over Thorndike? And I might have Liz Duffy answer why ordering through JLG is going to help you so much as a librarian.
Sure. So I think one of the main things, it's a subscription service. So you're going to get that new book every month. You don't have to think about it. It'll just arrive in your shipment. The other great thing is, as you said earlier, that the selection team reads all of the books. So they have read all of the trade editions, and we've taken that and we're working with Thorndike specifically to make sure that the selections that we have for each of our seasons matches exactly what we've picked in trade. So you're also getting that JLG gold standard as well from my team. So you're kind of getting best of both worlds, a bit of an auto ship. And I worked with public libraries for a long time as well. And that's a nice thing. If you are in a public library, it's kind of a bit of an auto ship as well. I know auto ships are great, especially if you're at a smaller library. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to look on your vendor website to see what's new. It just comes to you. So that's the main thing that I love about this, is that it would just arrive to you. And it already has that JLG gold standard.
Yes, thank you. And Mariah said, if you've picked a large print book that we already have, is there a way to get a different book instead? So you can swap that book for any other book that JLG has in any category, including large print. So you can swap for anything else that you want. We choose one large print book per month. So if you're subscribed to the large print category, you're going to have those, obviously, but that's a great opportunity to check out some other categories and see if there's other books in there that you might like to try out. So that's a great thing about JLG, is that it is a subscription service, but it's probably the most flexible subscription service I've ever seen. So, all right. So we have time for one more question. And Valerie asked, do you offer both regular and large print to your patrons?
Do I? Yes. But so one time I said something, I think I might have told this to Katie when we were talking, but I personally, if there were a way to just get the book in large print, I would probably choose that first over the small print book. And I call it small print because that's what the kids call it. Like legit. I was calling it regular print, and then kids consistently call it small print. So I'm like, they're right. And there is no regular print when you look at stuff. It's all over the place. So whereas large print is very consistent, that 16 font. So I have both generally because Thorndike is not a publisher. They're not publishing brand new material. People don't send them their manuscripts. They reprint basically books that are already out there. So I remember one time saying, oh, I would only just get large print if I could. And Thorndike's like, please don't say that because the publishers have to keep publishing books so that we can have books to reprint and publish in large print. So I do have both. But sometimes if it is a book that it does depend. If I know that it's available in large print, I definitely want to get it. Unfortunately, not every book is available in large print. I've had kids say, is this in large print? And I have to say, I'm sorry, honey, it's not. So, yeah, but I do have them both.
Great. Thank you so much. There are benefits of large print for dyslexia.
There are, yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that was one of the focuses of the 2024 study. They wanted to know if it was helping students that had dyslexia, and that definitely came out in the study.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Liz and Tasha, for sharing your expertise in this area. As we end this meeting, a survey is going to pop up. Go ahead and fill that out. We are going to send you a large print toolkit with some more information that you can forward to your local schools, forward to your administrators, all of that. That's perfect, Valerie. We'll send that to you. And you'll also be able to access this recording too. So thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, lucky fairy drawing dust for you all. And we'll contact you if you're the winner. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.